Thank you all for being here. The first thing I'd like to let you know is that you are actually here as my therapists today, and I am here to admit to you that I'm addicted to running. I love it. And with every story from the beginning, of course, it always starts with a story of failure. A few years ago, Viewpoint School turned 50 years old. And in response to that, as a community, we decided that we would all run the Calabasas Classic Fun Run. It'll be fun, they said. It'll be great, they said. It's community building, they said. You'll enjoy it. So I thought, I'm an athlete. I played soccer with a professional soccer team growing up. Of course, it's been a few years, but I'm an athlete. I can do this. So I showed up at the start line thinking that I was going to fare pretty well in this race, even though I hadn't really trained much. And I'm right there at the start. I'm about 3 deep back, ready to go. The gun goes. I'm set to win the race, or come close. I would accept second or third. That would be fine. The first thing that happens is someone steps on my shoe and my shoe comes off. So of course, as every superhero does, I decided I'm going to run the race with one shoe on and one shoe off. About a few strides in, I realized that's probably not going to happen. Those streets of Calabasas are pretty rough. So I go back for the shoe. Now you need to envision this, turning around into a crowd of about 2,000 people looking for one shoe. I finally found the shoe, managed to roll to the side, put the shoe on, and now of course I'm off pace. I'm off the leaders and I need to catch them, so I sprint. I don't know if any of you know the course. It starts off on a hill. I started off on the hill and I sprinted the hill to get up with the leaders. Of course, the leaders are almost finished by this point. And I was finished too. That was really the end of my race. I was exhausted. I couldn't go any further. I spent the rest of the race either shuffling or doing that sort of fake sore hip walk thing that you do as you pass people. And speeding up a little bit as you pass corners where people are taking pictures or watching you. So, a failure. I thought, I'm going to go out the next night and I will prove that it was the shoe thing, it was the falling in the planter, it was the sprint. It was just all wrong. I'll fix this. I went out of my streets, mapped out a 10K and failed again. So from that point onwards, I decided this would be my challenge. I would become someone who could run. So I took it down to basics and I started to run very slowly, and really started to think about what it meant to me and what the challenge would be. Since then, in those 4 years, I've managed to run 6 marathons, a few half marathons, and some fun run 10Ks along the way as well, which I've now come to love. But it's been the process. And what I would like to share with you today is the benefits that I have gained from running. First of all, there are the obvious physical benefits. Prevention of heart disease, osteoporosis, diabetes, all of the things that are quite obvious, and I think we all know them. Weight loss, general fitness and health, preserving your physical self so you can be there for your family in the long run. All of those things are quite obvious. Emotionally, though, is where I really felt like I connected with running. And it has been proven that running is, as I started with, really it's free therapy. Spending time running releases hormones that help fight depression, that really help us put our lives in perspective, and more than anything, allow us the time to contemplate life and what it means to us. And it really does help to stabilize us both physically and emotionally, and I've certainly gained from that as well. Not that I need therapy, really, because I'm, of course, very stable. But if I did, running would be just that. Personally, for me, I find that I am a more productive person because I spend time running. I feel that I have more time in my day because I spend 90 minutes of it running. That seems to contradict itself. I get up early in the morning with enough time that I can get a run in, and quite honestly, I feel like I do most of my productive thinking in the morning, and I can confess to you today that all of the thoughts that I'm sharing with you today I thought about while I was running. I tried not to think about this at any other time other than when I was running to prove a point that it is a productive and valuable time. And really without that time, on the days when I wake up later in the morning and don't run, I don't feel like I'm prepared for the day. I don't feel like I have that mental stability where I'm ready to be at work and ready to work with all the people I work with. So I think it's become something that is extremely valuable to me. As human beings as well, there are many things in our lives that I believe that we need that I don't even know that we are aware of those needs. As humans, we, through evolution, have worked hard physically to survive. And through life and this society that we have built for ourselves, we do everything we can to remove everything that is hard and make things easy for ourselves. The age of technology aims to make things easier and help us do things without as much effort. And I think running for me has allowed me to get that sense of effort and energy that I think that we miss as human beings. That challenge that we talk about often, that simply we try to remove from our lives. I think it's valuable and healthy, and I thrive on the idea of creating challenge in my life. The more challenge we can create, the more challenge we can overcome, the more we'll be able to apply that to all other areas of our life. And I feel like the challenges I've overcome, training for marathons, running marathons, and just my general daily runs prepare me well for the challenges of life, and I think they make me a more stable person who's ready to engage in the challenges of life. And what I would leave, that's what it's done for me. What I would leave with you to involve the community is that running is something, as evidenced by my story of failure. You don't have to fail before you can get into it. It's something that we can all do. It's been proven that you burn the same number of calories, not that it's all about calories, in walking a mile as you do in running a mile. And if you're walking a mile and you can do that easily, why not have a little jog in between and try to pick up your pace? If you like to motivate yourself, there's all kinds of technology that you can use. I use Map My Run. I use it to mark my pace. And of course, you can use that to challenge yourself. Go a little bit faster. Before you know it, you too may be addicted to running like me. And if you are so addicted, please join me. I would love to have you join me on some runs or some races. The most wonderful thing that I think I do with my running is go to these races. There's nothing quite like standing with 30,000 people who are all there with the same quest to finish a race, be it a marathon, be it a 5K or a 10K, and knowing that you are together in company of those who strive to achieve the same. There's a real power in that, and I think in a life and in a city and a society where we tend to separate ourselves more from each other and not engage ourselves in each other's lives, it's so wonderful to be with people who are all doing the same thing. So I encourage you to join me, perhaps without the failure, in being active, create a healthy physical and emotional lifestyle for yourself. And if you'd like to talk running, I would love to engage. Thank you.